Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 2 of the Build Different podcast, where we have casual discussions about life and everything in between. On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about ride hailing apps, and in particular, Ulendo and Yango, which are the Zambian versions of Uber. I'll share some of the experiences that I had when I was a taxi driver, and I'll also share some of the experience that I got from trying to run a taxi business in Zambia. So stay tuned. Now, for context, in other countries, you might have Uber or Lyft or whatever app, but in Zambia, there is Ulendo and Yango as the main apps. Now, Ulendo is a homegrown solution which was being run by Zambians, founded by Zambians, and loved by Zambians. It managed to work its way up to become the number one ride hailing app in the country. And then Yango is a foreign owned app which came into the market and just yanked the market away from Ulendo. I said was because one day I was scrolling through the newspaper and then I saw this notice of liquidation of Ulendo. Now, we all know liquidation is the process of closing down a business. It means you're done, you're not working anymore. You've closed down all your operations and then you're going to distribute your assets to your claimants. I was so surprised to find out that Ulendo was no more. Like, what happened, guys? What happened, guys? How could you let a Zambian brand die? Hmm? So, out of curiosity, I asked my network and I asked people, like, what happened? What do you think happened? Maybe someone might have all the information which I might need. So, here are some of the messages that I got. This is verbatim, by the way. One person said they were more expensive. They had internal wrangles, court issues, and mismanagement. Another one said they were rigid and didn't adapt fast enough. When a competitor joins with an agenda to take you out, you have to be fluid like water. Another one said they were cocky and didn't listen to people. And then this other guy said, you saw Yango and saw them decimate Ulendo, and you people booked a Yango yourself instead of Ulendo. So who's to blame? I thought about this previous statement when he sent it to me, and come to think of it, there is some truth to that. Like, I remember booking a Yango and not an Ulendo at some point. And it means that the people who actually brought Ulendo down were the people. Yes, you Zambians, you and you. You guys let Ulendo down and you closed the company because you chose to use another app and not the app that was Zambia. You might have your reasons, okay? But there's a thing called brand loyalty, which companies expect. Like, if we build a brand and they're like, I expect you to kind of be loyal to me as my brand, you get it. So it's obvious to me that no one really knows what happened. And we can only speculate, really, because we don't know what happened unless the people themselves, the owners of Ulendo, come and tell us. So, Ulendo guys, if you happen to come across this video, please, I would like to hear your story. I'd like to learn from you because I know you have so much. You've learned so much from this entire process. So if you'd like to tell your story, please get in touch with me, reach out. I really want to hear your story and tell your story. Now, you guys, the thing is, over the years, my relationship with failure, as you call it, has evolved. It's been changing. Okay. And I've come to realize that there's really no such thing as failure. Okay. All we get is experience. And this experience is what we use to do better the next time. So I don't believe anyone ever actually fails. You just gain more experience and then you can be wiser and do better the next time. So as I mentioned, I was once a taxi driver. Well, it was part-time, but I was a taxi driver. So what I would do was after knocking off from work, I would turn on the Ulendo app. I was signed up as an Ulendo driver. And as soon as I got a buzz, I would drive people around. And then later on, when I was tired, I'd go back home. And I was able to make some extra money from that. Yes, I was one of those guys who would tell his customers, this is just my side hustle. It's a part-time thing. And I know it sounds cliche because a lot of taxi drivers do that, but it was actually true for me. Like, it was a part-time thing, which is normal. It's okay, actually. And if you're a driver, a taxi driver watching this, by the way, I need to tell you that You need to own your craft. You need to love your craft. There's nothing to be embarrassed about being a driver or a taxi driver. Okay. So you need to love what you do. Just have that passion. There's no embarrassment with being a driver. It's a very good profession, and it's hard work and it's stressful. I went through, hey, I went through a lot. Okay. As a taxi driver, I'll tell you this. I'm going to share some of these experiences. In other countries, ride hailing apps would be something that you just do on the side. But in Zambia, you can actually run it as a business. And to do this, you need multiple cars and you'd hire drivers. And these guys would actually cash in and you'd make profit as a business and then keep expanding and the like. But we'll get to that. Let me tell you some of the experiences that I had as a driver. The whole idea was to eventually start a business and would have a fleet of cars. And these cars would all be bringing in money, running around the city and bringing in money, and would be expanding our fleet as we go and getting rid of older cars. The vision was to eventually end up um, with trucks and just expanding the entire fleet and being able to provide services for different types of customers. Aside from people, also transport goods and the like. The end goal was known. And in order to get to this end goal, the first thing that we had to do was do our market research and the like. And part of the market research was actually being a driver. Okay. So we didn't want to keep just hearing things from people like, oh, this person says they make so much per week and the like. So we went into deep research, became an Ulendo driver. I was making some money on the side while researching, of course, but that was the whole point because we're going to start this business. And what we needed to do is have the actual numbers so that when we are talking to our drivers, we would know exactly how much we're expecting and what happens. Being a driver is really stressful, guys. And you get to meet some very different types of customers. I think the most difficult customers, I would say, are drunk people. Yeah, drunk people are very difficult and usually only meet drunk people in the evening or late at night. And this is after they've had a good time. So now they're trying to get home and they're like, this one time I was working the whole day. I started around 6 a.m. and by around 10 p.m., I was almost ready to call it a night. Okay. But all the rides I had done that day took me to Kawata, which is like a popular area where there's some bars. So I parked by Kawata near Cheers and I was just having a rest, relaxing. Kept the app on because I knew it was a busy area and I usually got clients from that area. Whenever I'm looking for clients, I'll just drive there, turn on the app, and I'll likely get a client very soon. So as I was waiting, a lady came to my window. She knocked on my window. She was a fat lady. She was wearing some jean shorts and a purple vest. And she seemed to be maybe in her late 30s, I would say. She knocked on my window and I opened the window and then she asked, is this a taxi? I'm like, yeah. I could tell that she was quite drunk. Okay. So I was like, yeah, it's a taxi. And she's like, okay, let me get in. Now, the thing with taxi business or ride hailing, like if you get a client without using the app, then you're free to negotiate. Okay. Means you can even make more money. So that's the advantage of like just meeting clients. But of course, there are other risks involved, but we won't get into that. Let me finish my story. So this lady enters the car and she has her beer in one hand, of course. And then I ask her, where are we going? She says, oh, somewhere near Chalala. And they're like, it's about a 20-minute ride, I would say. And she said, just wait 1 minute. I was like, well, what are we waiting for? And as soon as I was finishing my sentence, a guy came to the back seat and entered. And then I was like, okay, is there anyone else still coming? He's like, oh, no, let's go. I start the engine. I'm about to start off. The guy at the back now, he's like, wait, I need to buy some food. I'm like, what? Really? Like, what have you guys been doing all this time? Of course, I didn't say this. This was all in my mind. So he asked the lady for some money, and she removes some money and gives it to him. And then he goes out to buy the food. I think he had ordered the food, but he didn't have money to pay for it, it seems. Now, bear in mind, this lady looks much older than this guy. Looks like a really young guy. I actually thought maybe he was like the young brother or something, but anyway, we never know. He finally comes with the food and they start eating in the car. Now, this is someone sitting in the front, very drunk, and someone who's drunk in the back, and they're sharing their food in the middle. Okay, I'm driving, someone is over here, and the food is in the middle, and they're sharing, they're eating, and they're like, and I was just like, oh, guys, please don't mess up my car. As we're moving, music is playing, they finished their food. Luckily, they didn't drop anything. 10 minutes into the ride, the lady falls asleep. I didn't notice she had fallen asleep. Okay. And she's the one who's supposed to give me directions. Remember, I'm not using the app, so I don't know where I'm going. I just know the general direction. But good thing is, Mr. Man behind here is awake. So most likely he's going to give me directions. So at least that's what I thought. So as we were approaching the area she had mentioned, I asked the guy, like, dude, where are we going? He's like, I don't know. I also don't know. I've never been there. I'm like, but you got in this car with this person. Like, yeah, but I don't know where she stays. Just try to wake her up. It took like almost a minute to wake her up. And when she finally woke up, she was like, okay, make this turn here and there, and then we'll be home. We got to her place outside the gate. First thing she does is get out of the car, and then she starts to pee outside, like just outside the car. I had to turn off the lights and wait in awkward silence. Okay. So now I can hear the pee and I'm just waiting because I need my money. So this lady finally finishes her business. And then I say, the money. And she's like, oh, just wait a minute. I don't have any money on me right now because I spent it on the food. Let me just tell my kids to bring it out since they're inside. Checks her phone, it's not working. So she's like, let me enter. The thing is, Lusaka is not the type of place where you can just allow someone to enter their yard and go. They might not come out. Okay. So I said, guys, come on, let's get serious here. You can't go inside and then say you bring out the money. You already slept in the car. So anyway, I decide to go inside the yard and wait at the gate. And she goes to the house, knocks on the window. It took about a good almost 3 to 5 minutes until the kids woke up, opened the house, and she went in, got the money, and came out and gave me the money. And this lady had the audacity to even try to flirt with me. I'm like, really? So anyway, I got the money and jumped over the puddle of pee and got into the car. And that was a signal to me that day that, dude, you've worked enough today. Just you've made enough money. Just go home. I'm just sharing this story with you to let you know that there's so many challenges, or I'd say different types of customers that you meet as a taxi driver. Okay. Sometimes you have to play the role of a counselor or a psychiatrist because some people seem to just let everything out to random people. They're just certain people who just want to talk. This one time, late at night again, I was just from dropping off a customer who had come from Pamosi Hotel somewhere. I don't know, was that Lenji or something? And I get a buzz on the app. It was a good day. That day I made a lot of money. I got a buzz on the app. It was some guy. So I went to the location. And as I'm pulling up to the location, I find these two people arguing, a guy and a lady. I park the car, and a few minutes later, the lady comes into the car, front seat, takes a seat, and the guy comes to my window and he says, I'm the one who booked this trip. As soon as you just take her to the location that I've indicated, and as soon as you reach there, please call me and I am going to send you the money. I'm like, "Oh, okay, fair trade. Makes sense." So clearly they were arguing and they weren't happy with each other. Guy said his goodbyes and we started off. 1 minute into the ride, the first thing this lady says to me is, "What would you do? I'm a driver. Like, what would you do?" I'm like, what's happening? And then she starts pouring all her emotions and all the things that this guy did and how he doesn't want to leave his girlfriend. He doesn't want to do this and that. And he's such a bad guy, apparently. And this went on for the entire ride. Okay. When we finally got to her gate, I ended the trip and I called this guy. I dialed his number and it wasn't going through. So this guy, who was such a bad boyfriend, was also being a bad customer. Okay. He turned off his phone. Can you imagine? So I was like, okay, this is very immature. I asked the lady, "Can you pay for this?" She says, "No, I don't have any money on me, and the Airtel Money booths are closed. I can't get the money." I'm like, okay, it's reasonable. Yes, probably don't have money and the booths are closed, but what are we going to do? Okay, I need my money. Our transaction is done. And I also provided you some counseling. Like, I should charge you extra for this. And she was at a loss for a solution. So she was like, okay, you know what? Just get my number and then tomorrow call me and I will arrange for the payment from that guy. Reluctantly, I got the number and it took 2 days, 2 whole days, just to get that money. And 2 days of constant phone calls and phone calls. And I should have charged extra for that additional service of phone calls, really, because it was very unnecessary. So, anyway, we get very different types of customers. And being a driver at night, or just a driver generally, is very challenging. So, this gave me a lot of insight in terms of what the drivers would go through when we do hire drivers for the business. Once I had the experience of being a taxi driver, I was more aware of the challenges and the issues that they go through. And then I was also able to tell how much money someone can make per day and per week. Okay. After this, we were now ready to start the business. We also asked some friends who were trying the business or had started the same business. And we asked them about their experiences and they're like, just to compare information and see if we had the correct stuff. When I say we, I mean I partnered with someone. I partnered with a friend and we went into this business together. So we were both doing our market research, me as a driver and him through his network. So now that we had all this information, we felt we were ready to start. And the first thing that we did was find a vehicle. Now, this was happening during the entire process of my research as a driver and the like. So we bought locally. We bought a Toyota Corolla, a sedan, and that was our first purchase because we wanted to start making the money immediately and just try. We didn't have time to start importing a vehicle from Japan or the like. So after we had bought the vehicle and put it in the right condition, we issued out an advert on Facebook for a driver on commission basis. Part of the criteria of selecting the driver was someone being able to fill in this form. So it was a form which people had to fill in online. And after that, we're going to shortlist. So we shortlisted people from all the people who responded. So in total, we got 49 responses. Not all of them were good. And we shortlisted this list to 5 people. And then out of the 5, only 3 people showed up, despite us calling them. And out of these 3, of course, we selected one driver. And that was our first driver who we got. Now, after hiring our driver, we set some rules, such as check in the morning like at 8 and at 7 p.m. To cash in every night before midnight. You cash in. We gave him daily and weekly targets, and we also made sure that he was we told them that you're not allowed to have trips outside of the city, like outside the province, without prior permission, because such trips usually require some preparation and quite substantial amount of money. So another thing that we did is we also installed a GPS system on the car, and we didn't tell the driver that we've installed the GPS system. And we were using this GPS system to monitor movements. And there was also a way of us checking to see if this person is honest and to see how many kilometers this person is doing per day. Now, guys, if you like this type of content, please hit the like button and also share with some friends. And also post your comments. I want to hear from you. I want to hear your opinion. Back to business now. So we started operating in December 2021. And by December, in fact, by November 28th, we had already selected our driver. Like, this is the driver that we want. And so we started operations in December. And I would say after about 2 months, we bought another car, but not from profit. No, we already had a target that would make the most amount of money if we had at least maybe 3 cars operation at the same time running around the city. So through some opportunities and leveraging, we put some resources together again and bought another car. Now, in this business, the biggest challenge I think that we faced was the drivers. Believe it or not, it was the drivers. And by the time we were done, this business only ran for almost a year, maybe I'd say 8 months or so. We had gone through 4 drivers through this entire process, and none of them actually made it past the probation period. Now, I'll explain some of the things that used to happen, because drivers always had like so many excuses, so many things used to happen. Remember, I was also a driver, okay? So I already had that experience in terms of the things that could happen, things that could go wrong. So some of the things that these drivers were saying to me were a bit too much. A lot of them were just excuses. Usually they would act okay until after about maybe approaching 2 months. And then they'll start the stories. Look at this guy. He said, "Sir, I promise the money will start coming in tomorrow before 12. 1,000 or 1,200 for Monday and Tuesday, plus for the last week, 200. So this is money that he owes from the other week. There is business during the day. At night, no trips are coming in. I promise tomorrow money will start coming in. Hi, sir. Things business too is very slow. I won't manage to clear the balance this week. I can only clear this week cashing." You've heard, eh? This other one, he says, "I'm very sorry, sir, for missing yesterday promise. I will send 1,100. This will never happen again. This will never happen again." Oh, that would be great. Good morning. This is the next day. Good evening, sir. You see the duration between a good morning and a good evening. Say hi. This is when I've just reached 1,000. Okay, that's great. How long till you get to 1,100? This was a target at that point. Very soon. Okay, waiting. Now he says, "I'm going to Intercity to withdraw the money in my Airtel account, then deposit it in your account." This conversation ended here. There were other issues. Aside from like these issues with depositing and coming up with so many excuses, these guys had, of course, some breakdowns and the like with the car, which is normal, okay? But those are manageable. All you have to do is just buy the right spare parts and the like, and the vehicle will run proper if you drive properly and take care of it. But the biggest issue with the drivers was not the vehicle or the customers. It was them and their type of behavior, their things that they used to do, just the way they acted. So honestly, we tried to empower these people, okay? And it was really disappointing because these people consistently proved themselves to be unworthy of our trust and also being irresponsible. They did a lot of things, but I think, let me pick the most epic, or I'd say the most inconveniencing thing that ever happened. Okay, let me even take off my glasses for this one because so imagine a situation where we now have 2 drivers. Okay, let's call driver number 1 Mavuto. Okay. Let's go driver number 2, Jinx. Yeah. So now Jinx has been with us for some time now. So he's the more experienced driver. And Mavuto is just starting. Let's say he's getting to 1 month or so. And he's approaching the 2-month mark when people start getting shaky. So one day, Mavuto sends a message. He says, "Boss, I'm sorry, but I've made a mistake." I'm like, "Oh, what's wrong?" He says, "Oh, I locked the keys in the car and the car is stuck at the taxi rank. I can't get the keys out." I'm like, "Okay, this is late in the evening. Let's sort it out tomorrow morning. Give me an update in the morning and we'll see how it goes." The next morning, by late morning, he still hadn't solved the problem. So I said, "You know what? I'm coming over there. I'll be right there." I even packed a hang wire because I know I could probably get the key with a hang wire. So anyway, we got there and we were sorting out the issue. And by that time, by the time we were resolving the issue, I thought to myself, what is Jinx up to? Let me check. I opened the GPS on the phone and started checking to see where this guy was and the like. Now, bear in mind, 2 or 3 days earlier, Jinx had sent a message saying there's something wrong with the car and it broke down. I can't go to the usual mechanic because we had a mechanic who we're using. So I'll just have my friend work on this small thing and then I'll use the car. So 3 days ago, this was the situation. And then the next day, he had texted saying, "I can't get the car out because there's still an issue that the mechanic is working on. He says it will take 2 days." So that means 2 days of no work. Bear in mind, this guy is already at some other mechanic. So we're like, there's no point in getting our mechanic to go there. And he sent some pictures of what was going on, something to do with the gasket or something like that. We're like, okay, he's sorting it out. Now, here I am opening the GPS and I check on his car. Now, the GPS says Jinx was moving. This is like, it's a record, it's a GPS record. So it says he started off around 2 a.m. and he started moving. I'm like, oh, okay. So the car is up and running now. That's good. We're in business, we're in money. Okay. So 2 a.m., the car starts heading northbound towards like 6 miles, Great North Road, going up north. And I'm like, okay, this is such a good day. This guy has got probably, 6 miles is far away. You're probably going to make some good money. So the GPS reaches 6 miles. It doesn't stop, it bypasses. It reaches 10 miles. It doesn't stop, it bypasses. I'm like, okay. So obviously this guy has an out of town trip maybe, or maybe he's just going nearby and he'll be back. It reaches the toll gate. Now, a toll gate means you are leaving the district, you're leaving the province, you're going to another province. And I thought to myself, Jinx didn't ask for permission from me. Maybe he asked for permission from my partner. Okay. So I observed the GPS. I continue to observe the GPS. It keeps going, goes past Kabwe, the next town. It doesn't stop. And then it stops in Kapiri, which is 200 kilometers away. This guy continues moving and gets to Ndola. He's now in the Copper Belt and ends up in Luanshya. Now, Copper Belt is at the border of Zambia and the DRC is like Copper Belt. And Luanshya is a town in Copper Belt. I noticed that the car is parked in Luanshya. And I thought, let me ask, because this is probably a lot of money. And let me ask my partner if this guy got permission and they're like, maybe there's something going on. I called my business partner. I'm like, dude, this guy, did he ask permission to go out of town? And they're like, he's like, no. I'm like, okay, check the GPS. This guy is in Luanshya. Did you have a word with him today? He's like, oh no, I haven't spoken to him this morning. I'm like, okay, fine, let me give him a call. I call this guy up and I say, Jinx, where are you right now? He's like, oh, I'm just by the corner of the taxi rank. And I'm like, Jinx, where's the car? He's like, oh, it's still parked. I'm using a friend's car. What? It's still parked? Like, yeah, I'm just using a friend's car right now at the taxi rank, and I'm trying to make the caching so that I can pay you guys. I'm like, okay, cool. I hung up the phone. Panic set in. And then I started to think, this guy is either really smart and playing some 3D chess with us and trying to make a killing, like make a really big killing going to Copper Belt and back, or he is genuinely stupid and aloof and doesn't know what's happening. So I get into panic mode and we start discussing with my business partner. We're like, okay, we need to recover the car because obviously maybe this guy isn't aware and we shouldn't tell him immediately. Okay. So I got in touch with my people in Dollar and Copper Belt, and my friend connected me to someone in Luanshya. And they were able to contact the police and organize a raid. So once the police were ready to pounce, they gave me the signal and I demobilized the vehicle because the GPS app had a function to turn off the engine, to cut the engine. So I made sure I turned it off, meaning the vehicle couldn't move. So the raid was successful. I got the call around midnight saying that apprehended two guys and they had put them into custody and they would be questioning them the next day. So the next day came. It turned out that the person who was driving was Jinx's friend, the mechanic. And when they asked this guy why he had the car, he said, I had gone for a test drive. Bear in mind, this is 310 kilometers away from Lusaka, okay? It's one hell of a test drive. It also turned out that this mechanic guy was not Zambian, and he happened to be from DRC, Democratic Republic of Congo. And he was just using a nickname as he was working in Zambia. The case now became Grand Theft Auto, and they were going to try him for that. So the next day, after questioning this guy, they decided to search the vehicle. And just when I thought it couldn't get worse, guys, hear this. They found a gun in the car, in the boot, under the spare tire. They found a gun, a pistol. Now, please tell me, you tell me what you think. Like, what is a foreigner mechanic doing on a test drive 310 kilometers away in a different province in a vehicle that is not his, moving at night suspiciously? It didn't make sense to me at all. So this complicated the entire case. It was such a mystery to me. When we confronted Jinx, Jinx was like, oh, I didn't know. And I didn't know that's what the guy was doing. And like, I wasn't aware. So we kind of let him off the hook for that because those guys were already in custody and at Luanshya police. The Luanshya police were very helpful. They were able to help me. And after the court hearings and the like, the vehicle was eventually removed from evidence because it became evidence because of the gun. I then drove back to Lusaka. Of course, I was disappointed in Jinx, but also relieved that we were able to recover the vehicle. That was what was most important. Like, it was such an unbelievable thing. I didn't think such a thing could happen. And one of the best decisions that we made, I guess, was installing the GPS system on the vehicle because there is no way we're going to know what was happening. Because if this guy had just said, oh, I'm just doing a test drive somewhere, come the next day or the other day, we don't know. We don't even know what his plans were with the gun. Like, maybe he was going to kill someone. We don't know. Okay? That gun wasn't even registered. We don't know. Maybe we saved the life.
It's always an uphill battle. We don't break those. Keep pushing.
This was such a big inconvenience, and it wasn't something that we expected could happen in this business. Okay? And you can only say these things after you've experienced them. Of course, We had the option of including Jinx on the case so that he's also tried as assisting, uh, tied to the case. But out of the goodness of our hearts, we decided we weren't going to include him. Though we did forward all our expenses to him. Like we told him, you're going to pay us back for all the money that we've spent to get this vehicle back, to clear it, and the like. And we put him on a contract which he signed saying, I'm going to pay this money back. Now, while all this was happening, we have, remember, we had two cars. Mavuto, also in his infinite wisdom, managed somehow to get into an accident and hit a cyclist and damage the side mirror of the car. We had had enough of Mavuto also, so he was fired also. Eventually, we hired another driver, and this time we even did more scrutiny. Okay, and this guy even had a certificate of education and the like, and he seemed legit and normal. But he went through the same cycle. After 2 months, he started giving excuses and the like, and it was just bad. So eventually, we ended up just closing shop, okay, because we had gone through too much stuff, and there were also other factors that came into play. Okay, so while this was happening, Yango came into the picture around March 2022. So while we're dealing with these driver dramas, they were also switching between apps, between Ulendo and Yango. And then the drivers who weren't registered on Ulendo were also protesting, saying, these guys are taking away business, government needs to do something, and they're like, and then government also came in with their own pressure. Okay? They came in with, oh, you guys, if you're doing Ulendo, you need a PSV license, both for the vehicle and for the person. The PSV means public service vehicle. So it means you're supposed to operate like a bus. Okay. So they issued out notices, and it just became very difficult to operate in that environment. So I hope you understand now that the biggest issue that we faced was driver behavior, driver underperformance, and the delivery. They would always promise to do good things. They would promise us the world. We're going to do this. We're going to make sure we deposit. I'm going to do this and the like. And they're always disappointed in terms of the performance and the agreement. And we parted ways with Jinx and company. I don't know what they're doing with their lives right now, but I can tell you that we did receive some messages later on from. Let me read this message. I think this one must have been from Jinx. He says, I feel I must apologize, boss. I have had no issues with you guys. I think it's inappropriate behavior and bad decision making that has led to this. All in all, I appreciate the opportunity you gave me. I have learned a lot. Thank you. He didn't respond. Later he goes, morning. Hope you're all well. Bosses, I'm begging for you to give me last chance to work. Without fail this time, I'm very committed and dedicated to work and will abide by all the conditions laid to me. I'm asking if you can find it within you to forgive me. I have learned my lessons and I promise not to repeat. Just as you had faith in me at first, I owe you the reciprocating respect. And I wish is to prove to you that I can do it if you allowed me to. I'm so sorry, bosses. I once again beg to take me back on board. Well, I can tell you, we never responded to these messages and we just moved on. Jinx never paid us back the money. In fact, later on, he popped up at my office with another person promising he would pay and the like, but we just let it slide. We moved on. Better to protect our peace. We moved on to other bigger things. So many factors led to the business closing down, as you can see. There was the driver behavior, there was also the government coming in, there was also protests from other people, and then Yango came in also with the discounts, and the customers just weren't on Ulendo anymore. Everyone was going to Yango because it was cheaper and the like. And eventually we decided, you know what, we need to pull the plug and liquidate. I learned a lot of lessons from this business. And I hope by sharing this information with you, you've also learned maybe one or two things. Okay. Now, I'd like to hear from you guys. What did you learn from my story? Where do you think we went wrong in the taxi business? Do you think it's worth it? Like, is it worth it trying such a business? Also, what do you think led to Ulendo shutting down? Like, what did they do right? What did they do wrong? Or what could they have done so that they keep fighting against this big giant that came into the market? Let's discuss, guys. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and the share button. Now, if you're interested in starting a taxi business of your own, you're in luck. I have compiled what I call a starter kit. It's not a business plan, but it's a starter kit, and it will give you a good foundation on where to start. Now, in this starter kit, you're going to find a driver hiring checklist. You're going to find a cash in tracker, a probation contract, a vehicle inspection handover checklist, a vehicle service record form, our drive to own contract that we were using, and drive to own tracker where you can track how far the driver has gone in purchasing the vehicle from you, working for the vehicle, and also some lessons learned. To access this taxi business starter kit, just follow the link in the first comment below and you'll be able to access it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed listening to my struggles. Okay, like I've been through a lot, obviously, you can tell. So please hit the like button and I'll see you in the next episode.